Just when people thought Justin Baldoni was finally the bad guy, Blake Lively proved she will always be the bad guy.
The internet's buzzing with speculation that there was more happened behind the scenes. I believe this. I believe that she liked him. She kind of fell for him. Those scenes were super steamy. Like, they had great chemistry. You could see that in the movie. And she was very kind of flirtatious in that video when they were kind of dancing side by side. And I think there was like text messages going back and forth. I think Ryan Reynolds saw something. I think then he got involved. Then he's poking fun on the Deadpool movie, the nice pool comments and all that stuff about him.
This is my celebrity couple. Like, this is my celebrity couple that I would double date with my husband. Now, I find them so annoying.
There is always a narrative twist in Hollywood marriages, which are like fairy tales. Reality decides to interrupt the celebration just when you think a famous couple has figured out the secret to eternal love, and now Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are the center of attention.
Justin Baldoni has come with receipts. Lively is finished.
He has said that the New York Times basically cherry-picked and altered communications and didn't give any context to anyone, which is true. He has text messages of Blake asking him to come to her trailer while she was breastfeeding so that they could discuss the next scene.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 in the morning. Hopefully this does not wake you up.
The couple in gold, the most popular lovebirds on the internet, the ones who have led everyone to assume that the secret to a happy marriage is lighthearted social media ridiculing it turns out that everything may not be as ideal as it seems. Who would have guessed that there would be problems hiding beneath the glitzy red carpet appearances and clever Instagram captions?
As one of the biggest Blake Lively supporters on this app, this footage that I'm about to show you guys is going to make it really, really difficult for me. Sorry, but this girl just keeps digging herself into a hole that I cannot dig her out of. This behind the scenes footage of them filming a very romantic scene, and in the scene it is very apparent that Blake Lively is very comfortable and almost a little bit flirtatious. Just watch. This could have been well before he did something that made her feel uncomfortable. I'm not saying that SH did not happen on the set of this movie, but as new evidence becomes available, it is much harder to be on Blake Lively's side, and I am still trying. I think one of the final straws for me, honestly, was when this text message from Blake Lively was released. She basically referred to herself as Khaleesi and implied that Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift are her dragons. Ugh. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of either of them, so I'm really curious how this is going to play out in court, and I'm really waiting for the trial to form any concrete opinions about this.
Nothing shouts fairy tale romance like a legal expert stepping in to provide some hard facts, so bring on the lawyer. It seems that such perfectly staged public moments conceal some really unpleasant truth. And let's just say that Blake Lively wasn't overly happy with the outcome. In fact, she reportedly lost it because, frankly, who enjoys having their marriage analyzed like a courtroom drama? This will be a fascinating one.
I'm gonna stop rambling because Jesus Christ, it's been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so fuck me. I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob and you're listening to me ramble at 2 in the morning. I can't wait to spend more time with you. Oh.
Blake and Ryan Reynolds were getting bothered by him releasing so much that they asked a judge to put a gag order on Justin to shut him up because they were gagged. Their lawyer said that Justin has further made it clear that his priority is completely torpedoing Blake Lively's career for the rest of her life. And this could actually all be over in 3 days because Blake and Ryan just asked a judge to dismiss this whole court case because they are trying anything to get this to stop because it's ruining their careers. That will be held on February 3rd. Blake Lively is accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment, followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass from people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled, "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Ryan Reynolds and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say certain things.
What specifically did this attorney say to put Blake Lively in full-blown damage control mode? Well, insiders say it wasn't a single, insignificant detail. Rather, it was a barrage of information that presented a completely different picture from the idyllic romance the public has been exposed to for years. Furthermore, this was a lawyer working with real facts, legal documents, and brace yourselves receipts, not some arbitrary tabloid conjecture.
Ryan Reynolds, who's married to Blake Lively, who's in the court documents we're covering. Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, slams Blake's motion. I'm going to share exactly what he had to say, the colorful verbiage to dunk on her response as she's trying to get out of this lawsuit. Blake Lively accusing Justin Baldoni of retaliating with his lawsuit on her, and then we have Justin Baldoni's lawyer saying Blake is abusing the system. To be quite honest, everyone I meet's Team Blake. I mean, other than Taylor Lorenz. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. I got that wrong. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. Even last night, when I did this stand-up show, there was a Q&A after, like with the host of the show, and I had a girl in the audience yell out, "That bitch!" I mean, that's crazy. People really that have followed this are either A, being duped, or they've got a good intuition, and it's really up to you to decide.
Let's now discuss Ryan Reynolds, the internet's go-to person, the walking, talking meme factory, who has persuaded everyone that sarcasm on Twitter is a positive personality trait. However, this little legal bombshell suggests that his humor may not be as effective when he is not around people. Evidently, that lightheartedly endearing sarcasm is less endearing when it's a part of everyday life. Surprisingly, not everyone enjoys watching a comedy show that never ends, especially when the jokes get old.
Every interview that Blake is in, there is some portion of it that there is like a staged Ryan Reynolds sort of question. So there was an interview I was watching where they showed Blake a video that they did of Ryan telling her to come home. And there's always like these really cutesy kind of staged moments. And normally, again, years ago, would have found that adorable. But lately it has been so heavy, and I think it's because of the It Ends With Us promotions and marketing. It is also becoming very clear to me now that they have walked all over Justin Baldoni. He is the director of the movie, and it is just very evident that Blake, who was a producer, was kind of stepping on his toes while he's out there doing promotions of the movie.
According to sources, although the public perceives a happy, harmonious pair, strain has been building for some time, and the lawyer's disclosure supported rumors that Blake's patience has been waning. Although the pair is skilled at making jokes in public, let's just say that not all of their private eye rolls are amusing.
He also has correspondence of Blake asking for the costumes to be sexier in the film, which really doesn't corroborate any of these claims she's been making about the fact that he was sexually exploitative. His lawyers have said, while their side embraces partial truths, we embrace the full truth, and we have all of the communications to back it. Public will decide for themselves, as they did when this first began.
The problem of power dynamics comes next. No matter how much they pretend otherwise, Hollywood marriages are rarely level playing fields. Blake, although being a star in her own right, has frequently been eclipsed by Ryan's extravagant online persona. According to reports, the attorney revealed the extent to which that dynamic has impacted their relationship. It turns out that one partner may begin to feel like a sidekick in their own marriage if their brand depends on being the humorous one. Let's just say that Blake isn't the kind to play second fiddle in a quiet way.
Hi. Yes, I do sometimes go on camera, you friends. So, welcome to the channel. I hope everyone's having a good day. There is a lot to talk about, and I have to try to figure out where I'm looking. Okay, camera's right there. I am using my Mac camera right now, so I usually use a different camera, but I have to be looking at the screen because there's a lot that we have to go over. And I'm pretty, there's so much. And I have some clips that I have shared in different videos that I think are relevant to what was recently filed in court. And I recognize that some of you have probably already had an opportunity to find some of this information out, but welcome. So Ryan Reynolds is kind of a hot mess, and he recently filed a motion to dismiss, and here's the thing. Federal court motions to dismisses in federal court are extremely hard to have pass. Like, for a judge to grant a motion to dismiss, there has to be a finding of like a technical issue of law. It has nothing to do with the facts of the case. Everyone that's on Blake's side now is arguing that California law doesn't apply to Justin Baldoni and Wayfair, but it applies for Blake. So what I notice a lot about with Blake and Ryan is that it's rules for thee, not for me. And it's just very much the way that narcissists rule the world.
Then came the money part, as a Hollywood marriage wouldn't be the same without a little financial stress, of course. Legal conversations indicate that there have been some issues regarding corporate initiatives, investments, and surprisingly, career sacrifices. It appears like Blake has had to put some of her personal goals on hold while Ryan has been growing his business with Mint Mobile and Wrexham. And a power struggle cloaked in mutual support is what Hollywood adores more than a power couple.
It's now being reported that some of the cast and crew from It Ends With Us have been supporting Justin Baldoni during the alleged feud because they think he got screwed over by Blake Lively. An It Ends With Us source confirmed to TMZ that while there is a rift between the cast and crew, there's no clear-cut villain, and a lot of them are siding with Justin because he was a generally nice guy to work with, and he cared a lot about this film. The source told TMZ that the feud is more like a civil war. While some are siding with Blake, there's also cast members who feel Justin got screwed over. TMZ reports that several people from the crew understand why Justin did a solo press tour after Blake allegedly brought in her own film editor and her husband Ryan Reynolds to do last-minute rewrites of the script, even though it was supposed to be predominantly Justin's project. TMZ said they spoke to multiple sources who said that Blake was eager to be seen as the creator of the film.
However, this is where things become even more intriguing. It seems that this ideal pair has been concealing certain information for years. The attorney's remarks alluded to confidential discussions, meticulously planned public relations campaigns, and, eventually, contractual arrangements between the two, since their relationship seems to have been handled as methodically as one of Ryan's Deadpool scripts. What is love really, without a little legal paperwork? And it might be an understatement to say that Blake's response to everything was explosive. She cherishes having control over her story, if anything. Blake has established her brand on judicious exposure, in contrast to some celebrities who live on oversharing. She did not sign up for this kind of mess, so having a lawyer reveal these awkward facts.
But it just seems to me that the Team Lively side has been caught really quite flat-footed on this whole thing, and yet they're the plaintiffs. They're the ones who had all the time in the world to prepare this before they filed. So I know you've talked about this, but what is your view of that?
Yeah, that's the thing that was the strangest to me, was she claims to have, had all of this ready, even when the initial New York Times article was published, right? They claimed that they published this information because they had thousands and thousands and thousands of pages that they reviewed of evidence, and that's why they felt confident publishing this article. I didn't believe that there was, even 50 pages of information that they reviewed, but that's my own it's my own personal opinion. But it's where's the 1,000 documents that they reviewed then?
However, we shouldn't overlook Ryan's response, since he obviously didn't just stand by and let this happen without taking some action to stop the damage. Furthermore, Ryan Reynolds excels at making light of situations. As a result, he automatically cracked a joke rather of confronting the issue head-on. The problem is that not everything can be laughed off, and insiders claim that Blake wasn't exactly in the mood for another clever tweet when all of this came to light. If anything, his casual attitude toward the revelations only made matters worse. This is a deflection, no doubt, but also a tried-and-true tactic that has kept him on the public's good side for years. Because, let's face it, if someone points out flaws in your marriage and your initial reaction is ironic, that sort of validates the problem, doesn't it?
Blake Lively has filed to get out of this lawsuit, and this gets tricky because it applies to a new law in California that was actually enacted in January of 2024. Now, on its face, it can look like that she could get out of it, but there are some details in which I don't see how that's a possibility. And it also doesn't mean Justin Baldoni can't sue her again. Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit. The move comes 2 days after her husband, Ryan Reynolds, asked the court to do the same. In the motion to dismiss, Lively's legal team cited a California law that protects individuals from retaliatory lawsuits if they report allegations of sexual harassment or misconduct. If successful, Baldoni could be on the hook to cover Reynolds and Lively's legal fees. This lawsuit is a profound abuse of the legal process. This is what's in this filing. So this lawsuit is a profound abuse of the legal process that has no place in federal court. California law now expressly prohibits suing victims who make the decision to speak out against sexual harassment or retaliation, whether in a lawsuit or in the press. Attorneys Mike Gottlieb and Ezra Hudson told Yahoo.
Here's yet another intriguing turn of events. Additionally, the attorney alluded to outside influences being a significant factor in their marital dynamics. Relationships have become commercial transactions due to Hollywood's fixation with pair branding. And let's not act as though Ryan and Blake haven't profited from it. Being the humorous, personable, and down-to-earth couple is the foundation of their entire public persona. However, the flaws appear when that picture begins to seem more like a play than reality. Consider it. How often have they purposefully made fun of one another on anniversaries, birthdays, and other special occasions? It's adorable. It's amusing. However, is it exhausting or sustainable when the cameras are off? The lawyer claims that the latter is far closer to the truth. It takes a lot of work to maintain an image, and sometimes people simply become weary of it.
Lively's motion, which was obtained by Yahoo, slammed Baldoni's vengeful and rambling lawsuit. I mean, just reading this, it is like venom. It is so disgusting, especially with all the evidence that we know. And just the idea that someone can just claim harassment falsely, ruin someone's life, or falsely claim sexual assault, ruin that person's life, and that person should just lie down and take it. There's nothing can be done about it. It's absolutely insane that this law, I understand why the law was done, but when you think about it, like, you can just, this is how people can get ahead. They can just threaten somebody and say, I will claim that you tried to sexually harass me if you don't do what I want.
So, are we now anticipating Blake and Ryan's demise? Or is it not necessarily the end? The fundamental reason why Hollywood relationships are enduring is because teams of public relations specialists put in extra hours to maintain them. However, it does imply that the fairy tale may not be as straightforward as they would like people to think, and that alone is sufficient to upend their whole meticulously constructed persona. The problem with celebrity relationships is this. People begin to view every conversation, post, comment, and red carpet appearance differently as the illusion begins to fade. All of a sudden, everything is being examined from a different angle. Fans may still marvel over their clever online interactions, but the reality may be a little less picture-perfect for a pair whose entire business has been based on effortlessly being in sync. Let's just say that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are dealing with a lot more than just their next viral tweet right now.